What it do? Dream Team, it's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with Dara on NCT classes. I'm very intrigued to jump into this. I did not know what NCT classes meant, so I had to Google it. I think it was like early infant stages, as well as like prenatal care, as well as like birth, all of that. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested, and drop your favorite video suggestion in the comment section. What we got there?
No. What got me angry this year, and in the last couple of years, it's been to do with the babies, right? Because the amount of quasi-scientific bullshit that's peddled at new parents who don't know any better and are easily frightened is shocking about when the child should sleep or cry or eat or what you should play to it and what you should play with it. It's a horrendous industry, even before the child is born. Right, now my two young friends, hello, how are you, right? I'm going to talk about a thing called an antenatal class. I'm taking a wild guess here that you don't know what that is. All right, say that right now. You have a vague idea? It's, you know, you've seen it, maybe seen the films where there's like a pregnant women, there's a circle of pregnant women and they're breathing. And
yes.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's an antenatal class. In this part of the world, the classes are run by a charity called the National Childbirth Trust, very commonly known by the abbreviation NCT. Little note for any comedians in the room, beware abbreviations. They can mean very different things in different countries. In Ireland, for example, NCT stands for National Car Test, the Irish equivalent of the MOT. I, like a fucking idiot, forgot that and walked out at the start of this tour and said, so I brought my pregnant wife for an NCT. I recoiled in horror, as if to go, why would you do that? Why would you walk her into a garage and go, Jesus, the handling has gone on this. She's all over the road. Mind you, the headlamps are better than I've ever seen them. Don't do anything about them. Now, you don't do this course because of any of the information involved. You can get that on a load of different sources. You do the course because you'll meet other new mothers, and it is vital for new mothers having their first baby to have a network, a support structure of other new mothers also having their first babies at the same time in the area, so they can share with them their total lack of aggregate knowledge or experience. Right? The rest of us having a computer help desk that we'd ring up and go, help, my computer's fucked. That sounds terrible. It is. How are you? I'm all right. Bye. That's the level of care they can offer each other, right?
That is! He said that's the level of care they can offer each other. None of them have any knowledge about how life's about to change, what's about to go down, all of this. And that's funny. Keep it going.
That's the level of care they can offer each other, right? The course, by the way, is also run by midwives. Now, midwives are fabulous people, do wonderful jobs. But some midwives are surprisingly political. Some midwives think they're in a turf war with doctors. In a don't let the doctors near you kind of a way, because some midwives seem to have mistaken doctors in their head for Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. Actual quote from a midwife, don't let the doctors near you with their knives. Actual quote, as if the process isn't scary enough without thinking doctors are ready to lash out randomly in dark corridors. The course is also taught in that tone that I can't stand, that, okay, we're all here together. We're just taking our first steps on an incredible journey of life.
I'm about to say I've heard that tone, yes. Yeah, it's such like a calming tone. We're all here together. Let's just breathe in, breathe out. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Incredible journey of life. At one stage she goes, no surnames, no job titles. What you do outside this room isn't important right now. We're all the same here. We're just new parents taking our first peek into a wide new world. Try to ignore the large bald man off the telly. Sitting in the corner of the room, openly taking notes for use in a future routine. was all I could do to keep sane. We had to, look, she would do things like she handed her the homeopathy kit, you know, for labor pains. And it came around to me and I went, oh, ingredients, water. That'll be handy when you're screaming the place out. The screaming probably dries your throat out a bit, right? And then she gets to some of the genuine signs. My two young friends here, for example, there is a hormone in a woman's body called oxytocin, right? Now, oxytocin is a hormone released during lovemaking. It is also the hormone that regulates labor, right? The woman is talking about this, and she says, oxytocin, she says. Oxytocin is best released in a quiet, dimly lit, nurturing environment where there are no loud noises or sharp sounds. You're going, it's not a fucking badger. She goes further. She says the production of oxytocin will halt if your partner has to answer any difficult questions or make any decisions or perform any rational thought. And we're all sitting there going, well, that sounds handy, doesn't it? If you go into labour in a shopping centre or up a mountain. Oh God, I've gone into labour. Pop quiz. Oh fuck, it stopped. Nice work. Presumably you can stave off labour using only a Nintendo DS and a copy of Dr. Kawashima's brain training regime. And then she gets to a major issue. Oh, lads, you know nothing about this, but I'm going to say something.
The way he ran over to them, I absolutely love. But yes, he said, we can stop labor. He said, oh, I'm going to labor. Pop quiz. That stopped it. I love Dara O'Brien.
Oh,
look at this.
Lads, you'll know nothing about this, but I'm going to say something here that you'll have never heard of before in your life. Never heard of this. But when I say it, watch out for this. When I say something in about a minute's time, every woman in this room is going to make a noise. Every one of you will make this noise, and I'm not proud of the noise I'm about to make you make. It's not a good noise I'm going to make you do, but there's good stuff just beyond the noise. There's gold, but there's a noise barrier, and you've got to make the noise to get to that barrier, right? During the process, there is a point where a decision may have to be made. I cannot apologize enough. Between a tear and a cut. There's the noise I've heard 120 times so far in this tour. The noise and also the hands. If it's any comfort to you, there are two 14-year-olds who haven't a clue what just happened. They're sitting in the front row going, what, did they have to cut them out of their jeans? Is that what happened? Is that We get to this important point, and the woman is discussing it, and in her full-on, don't let the doctors near you way she goes, obviously, she says, you should choose the natural path. Which is a debatable point, right? To back up this stance, to back this up, unbelievable, she goes, besides which, she says, besides which, a tear heals better than a cut. I'm loving you for that sound. That is exactly the sound we made at the time of, huh? What? That sounds, what? That sounds counterintuitive at best. I turned to my wife, who is a surgeon. Although not allowed to say it, I said, really? And she goes, no, it fucking doesn't.
I turned to my wife, who's a surgeon. Is it really? No, it effing doesn't. It does not heal better. A tear or a cut. Oh. Keep it going.
Doesn't. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. What does she think we've been doing for the last 250 years? I said, well, do you want to correct her on this? If I correct her on this, I've got to correct her on everything she said for the last day and a half. Let's just get the email addresses and get out of here, right? A friend of mine summed up brilliantly. A mate of mine, himself and his wife had just been through the whole thing, and I was talking to him a few days later, and I said to him, oh my God, she said an incredible thing. She said, a tear heals better than a cut, and your man goes, oh yes, that's very well known now. In fact, most surgeons these days, for the initial incision, will use a bear. Let's go back to the room. We're in the quiet room with the midwife and all of the couples, right? And then a thing happens, and this is word for word the way it happens. I love this story. Every time I tell this story, 120 times now, I can see his face. I can see his face, right? So we're in the room with the midwife, and she does quite a clever thing, where she reads out a list of all the physical changes that will occur in a woman's body over the course of the pregnancy, so that the women there can go, ah, that happened to me, or oh, that happened to me, and it'll demystify them. She goes to her list. She goes, some of you may have experienced constipation. And in the corner of the room, one man raised his hand. And it's better than you think, because we all went, what the fuck? Even in the middle of it, what the fuck? And your man goes, we've had that. Her face, the look of I don't think we had that. We've shouldered many burdens together over the last 8.5 months, but frankly, constipation wasn't one of them. We all just about recover, and a minute or two later, she's going through the list, and she goes, some of you, she says, some of you may have experienced sore nipples. Up his arm goes again. Everyone's going, don't look at that. That is the funniest thing that has ever happened. That man's nipples are sore because his wife is pregnant. Look at your shoes. Look at your shoes. Don't forget, look. I will die laughing if I look at that man earnestly with his sore tits because his wife is pregnant. Oh my God, that is the funniest thing that has ever happened. Me, I'm checking me nipples. I'm just flicking out the shirt. I'm just seeing if I'm one of the lucky ones. I've dodged a bullet, I'm all right. I'm saying to my wife, this is actually quite pleasant. This might get me through the labour, to be honest. And we're all going, oh God, do another one, do another one, do another one, do another one. Because we know this game is about to end. We're about to break for lunch. It's like 12:30 on the first day. When we break for lunch, that couple are not coming for lunch with any of the rest of us. She is dragging him away to the farthest cafe she can find, getting the rustiest fork she can find, and ramming it into his thigh and going, nobody else was sharing information about their partner's arse or tits. Why are you telling them this stuff? You better zippity for the rest of the weekend. We're going, oh, do one more. And your one only has one or two on the list. She's almost at the end of her list.
But that's a fact. She definitely took him to the farthest cafe and definitely just gave him a good talking to. Just gave him a nice, polite talking to. And that guy didn't talk for the rest of the weekend.
We're going, oh, do one more. And your one only has one or two on the list. She's almost at the end of her list. And she goes, some of you may have experienced unusual discharge.
No.
And the whole room just went, and just as his arm, she went, fucking shut up. Genuinely, I've met him since, it kills me. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, he didn't talk for the rest of the week. He was quiet. It was as quiet as a church mouse the rest of that weekend. That's all we got for this week. If you guys got a favorite video suggestion, drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. It's your boy D Neal, out.